Welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to cover windows. So I've opened a new PDF. This is step 4 to 5, aligned window dimensions. And these dimensions go from the edge of the house to center of the windows. Our main tutorial final sheet set, if we take a look up here, goes from window edge to window edge. Center to center is more accepted, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this as our window locations. So what I like to do is go through and put in some model lines that are going to show where these windows go. Just so you're aware, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 windows, and then 9, this kitchen window, those are all the same. So if we look here on our schedule, we see that doors 1 through 9 are all the same window. There are a couple of different heights in here that we need to look at, but they are the same double hung window. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting in our model lines, and we're going to pop over to Revit. We're going to go to model line. We're going to draw a model line up. These room dimensions can go. We don't need those anymore at this stage of the game. So we're going to pick this line, use our copy tool, pick a base point, and just like a move, we're going to type in our distance of 4 feet. And we've got 5'8", and then since these windows are symmetric, we're going to just go ahead and mirror them. So we've got 5'8" and then 4'10" to the next window. So if we take this line, copy 5'8", we can draw another model line and then copy this down. I think we said 4'10". Yep, 4'10", and then 3 feet for the next one. Pick it, copy, 3, enter. And now we've got a good place to start with our windows. So just like with our doors, we're going to go ahead and click Window. And we want a double hung 36 by, I believe we said 48. And notice that we do not have that in a double hung of 36 by 48. So what we're going to do is pick the closest, edit type. The nice thing about Revit is when you're dealing with walls, windows, doors, floors, whatever the case is, the workflow tends to be very similar. So we're going to duplicate this and we're going to call it 36 inch by 48 inch. Now that's just a name. That has nothing to do with the real size. The real size is listed right here. So that's going to be a 3 foot wide by 4 foot tall window. We're going to hit OK. And now we've got our window that we can put in. Unfortunately, it will not snap on to our model line, so I'm just going to put it about in the right place, and then we're going to move them. So I'm going to pick here and here, and then what I can do is move this window from its midpoint, which is the triangle, to the model line. So a little bit of an extra step, but it's a lot easier than having to move things by some random distance that we don't know quite what it is. So we can then move this window. We might get an error when these two overlap. Oh, they don't quite overlap, so that's nice. So we're going to zoom in here. We're going to find our midpoint, which is down here, and then click that up. Now the other thing we could have done is placed our first window on either side and then use the copy command to just copy that window over. So there's just another way that we can do it. So these 4 windows then can get mirrored about this axis, and there are my windows. Now if you're thinking, well, I should have mirrored the dimensions also. Dimensions don't work like that in Revit. You can't mirror them when they're placed with a host geometry. So one step, unfortunately, that we can't kind of cut a corner. So we're going to go ahead and use an aligned dimension, pick our face of our wall, our center line of our window, and we're going to pop that in, and then we're just going to go through and do all this. Now I recommend, again, dimension windows as you go. Don't let it wait for a long time. If you do that and you have a mistake, it's going to be harder to fix. The other thing is, I'm not going to lie, putting window dimensions and door dimensions and dimensions in general, it is not the fun part of this process. If it is, hey, more power to you. It's not to me. We're going to go ahead and get rid of these. So what I would recommend is do them as you go. It's just going to make it a little more enjoyable, and it'll make it less likely that you're going to miss something. So we're going to go ahead and save our house. And at this point, we're going to pop back over to our PDF and find our location, which is 16 foot 8 to this kitchen window. So I'm going to copy this window down 16 foot 8. 16 foot 8. Enter. And there's our window. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dimension that real quick. And we did say that some of these are at different heights. So this is window 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and look at our final sheet set with our head heights. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all at 7 foot. And then 5 and 7 are at 8 foot 6. Not quite sure why that is. Let's look at this other PDF real quick of our, we said 5 and 7. Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. So 5 and 7, and then 6 and 8. These should all be at the same height. I'm not quite sure why they're not. 5, 7, 6, and 8. So let's look at our schedule again. 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's make all of these at 8 foot 6. So this is easy. We're going to pick a window and just get our 4 windows. And it's not going to let us because of that dimension. So we'll just pick 2, control, pick the other 2, and then we're going to change our, see, if our window is 4 feet tall and we wanted 8 foot 6, that would be 4 foot 6 for our sill height. Apply, and nothing really changed, which is good. Our next window down here is window number 9, I believe. Scroll up and double check. That's window 9. And so we see that window 9 has a head height of 8 feet. So we'll go ahead and change this to 4 feet. And that looks good. So for the rest of our house, what we're going to do is put in the corresponding windows. So if you want at this point, you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'm just going to go ahead and continue to put my windows in. So we see that we've got some different heights here and widths as well. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go in and compare our numbers. So we've got 10, 11, and 12, and 17 and 18. And these 5 windows, 10, 11, 12, 17, and 18, should all be the same. 10, 11, 12, 17, and 18. They are the same with the exception of the width. So we've got 10, 11, 12, 36 by 72. Okay, so those are all the same. So those are 3 foot by 72 inch windows. So again, we can come into Revit, and if we want to try to copy those windows down, we can copy this window down our distance, which is 6 foot 6. Let's try to do this a different way. So 6 foot 6. And then this window is, we said, 36 by 72, so it's taller. So we can edit type and then duplicate 36 by 72. Hit OK. Change our height, because remember all we did was change the name of it. And then we can come over to our PDF, and we have 4.5 and 4.5. So we can now copy this down. Another way to type is 4.5. and then copy this one down 4.5, because half of a foot is 6 inches, quarter of a foot is 3 inches. So if that works a little better for you, that's fine. And then we're going to take these two, and we're going to mirror them, drawing a line. So that line is going to be the center of our sliding glass door, and there's our other two windows. So then lastly, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and dimension these. So again, we want to do that while we're working. If we get little discrepancies, they're easier to fix. And window center to the face of the wall. Same thing over here. Again, unfortunately, window dimensions do not, or dimensions in general, do not mirror correctly. So this can go. So our last step here is to add in our windows at the bottom of the house, which is our lake view, and those are windows 13, 14, 15, and 16. So if we look at 13, 14, 15, and 16, those are 4-foot by 6-foot windows. So we can do another window and edit, duplicate 48 by 72, and then change our dimensions 4 and 6, and OK. And now that window we can place, and what I would do here is the same thing as we did above. Draw a model line real quick and double check our dimension, 3'6". So I'm going to copy this 3.5 and then move this window from its midpoint to the end point of that line, and copy this window over 4 because those windows are stacked on top of each other. And now to save time, let's just go ahead and mirror them again along that axis of the center of our door. And now we should be able to go ahead and place the rest of our dimensions, and everything should be good to go. So we want to leave some space in here, and then make sure it looks really nice and neat when our dimensions are nested properly, meaning our small dimensions are located inside of our large dimensions and they're all lined up. Revit does a nice job of making sure that those all snap in. So one thing that I did not do that I need you to do is to make sure that all of your head heights and sill heights are correct, and that will be double checked in your window schedule on your final sheet set. So again, if we want to look at our 3D view, now we can see that we're starting to build up our house, and we can see what our window locations look like. Here we definitely want to make sure we change the height of those windows, so our head height, if we take a look at our schedule, is 9 feet, which means we need to have 10-foot walls. So that's no big deal. We can go back to our elevation view up here or down here, and that is 10 feet. Oh, yeah, okay, I see. So these need to come down a foot on the sill height. We can make that. See, that's a 6-foot tall window. So the head height, that would be, make that 3 foot. And now that fits in there much better. So again, double check all of those, and I'll see you in the next video.